I wore the wrong mascara and it's starting to streak on my face. Bro, I look dramatic now. This is why you always wear waterproof mascara. Welcome to Think Piece Thursday, filmed and posted over the weekends and actually has no correlation to Thursdays at all. Let's get into the thoughts that I've been thinking this week because I've been having a lot of like shower monologues that I'm like, oh, this is really good. I should talk about this in my video, and then I forget. So I'm gonna try to rack my brain and remember some of those because they were really good. I kind of like lost my voice, like not really, but like kind of, and I also had like a really bad sore throat, so I just didn't want to talk or like speak like actual words. But while I have not been speaking, I've done a lot of thinking, and so I've had a lot of thoughts on my mind. None of those thoughts have been very positive. I mean, I don't know, not to sound like a Debbie Downer or anything, just been having really negative thoughts. I think it's an amalgamation of the stress in my life along with just recent events. The isolation definitely plays a part. Probably also the weather. You know, you mix it all up, it turns into a crazy cocktail of sadness, which sucks. I don't like feeling sad, but it's a feeling that we have and we go through sometimes. And I feel like that I've also been mixed with a lot of anxiety lately, mainly due to exams, but also just like the pressure of keeping relationships. Not to say that I'm like struggling to reach out to people. I feel like I'm struggling to gauge the timing. It's hard to tell if people hate me. Not really, no it's not. I know when people hate me. I just refuse to believe it. There is a certain relationship in my life right now that I don't want to lose completely, and I've been struggling a lot with figuring out how to reach out and say that and how to have a face-to-face conversation about it, because I feel as though face-to-face conversations are very important to have in relationships, no matter what kind of relationship it is, because when you text, the tone is very different. It's not as serious. When you call, it doesn't feel the same. I just prefer face-to-face. I've just been grappling a lot with what to say, how to say things, when and where to reach out. One of my biggest fears like ever, not heights, not the ocean, it's being blocked. Little sneak peek about a future video. I did make a video that was supposed to come out this past Wednesday, but I'm deciding to sit on it for now because there's some advice in the video that it's advice that I strongly believe in. It's advice that I believe is very important for a lot of people to hear, but it's advice that I don't want a certain person hearing right now. I don't want them to watch that video and take that advice yet. So we're sitting on that video for a week or two. But don't worry, it's a good one. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it so much. Speaking more about relationships, the video that I'm gonna release on Wednesday is also about relationships. One thing about me is I don't really understand men and like how they work in relationships. They're very weird, you know. They'll say that they hate you, they'll say that they want nothing to do with you, and then they'll do everything to get your attention. Like, I wish people were more straightforward about their emotions. I know I'm not straightforward about my emotions, so I can't really expect anyone else to be, but if there was a way for me to be more straightforward about my emotions, I think that would benefit myself and everyone around me for sure. I made a promise to myself at the beginning of the year that I would try to be more honest about my own feelings, not just to myself but to the people around me. But I think something that I definitely noticed this past month is not that you can't be honest with everybody. Honest is not the word, but you don't have to tell everyone everything about your life. You know, I have personal thoughts, I have personal feelings. There are some things that I don't want other people to know. There are some aspects of my life that I don't really want people who are personally very close to me to know. And I think while I said I want to be more honest, I think what I meant is I want to be more intentional this year. Intentional with the things that I tell people, intentional with the things that I portray onto the internet, onto the real world. I'm telling my feelings right now on the internet. The second that this is posted, I'm no longer in control of who views it. I'm no longer in control of who comments, who shares. There's nothing I can do about that. All I can do is say my piece and put it out there. And while I am being very honest about my feelings, I'm not saying everything. As much as I love my viewers, as much as I love my subscribers, whether I had one person view this video or 5,000 people view this video, the same information would be shared, and it's intentional to know what information you're sharing where. It's very different to share information onto a public platform, like posting a video or writing a tweet. Posting something like that publicly about, say, your feelings. Say I was saying, I'm feeling really sad, send tweet. That's very different than going up to someone who I really care about, someone who's a really strong part of my life, and being like, hey, I'm feeling really sad. Those are two very different things. It's two very different audiences. And I think that's something that I'm trying to be a lot more intentional about, especially in 2025, especially in the future. There's definitely a big difference in the platforms that you share information on. And I think that that sort of communication, especially with the people who are close or the people who were close to you in your life, it's very important to share those feelings with them rather than being really weirdly cryptic on the internet. What else have I done this week? I rewatched BoJack Horseman. Wow. So I try to limit myself to watching BoJack only once per year because mentally I don't think I can handle more than that. But I've already hit my BoJack quota for the year, so I rewatched it all in one sitting. That's new. I haven't done that before. It's only 21 hours, so I say only, but you know. I thought that it was longer. Every time I watch it, I try to watch it from a different character's point of view. And I think this year I really related to Diane. If you asked me a couple years ago, I would say that I probably related most to Princess Carolyn. I think she's a very hard worker. She puts everything into her career, and that's who I was probably like 3 years ago. But since then, I feel like I've lost all of that motivation, and I don't know where it went. But I've lost the motivation to fight for a career, to fight for an education. Not really. I mean, I try to fight for my education every day. So I want to stay in school, but I feel like I want to stay in school because school is the only thing I've known. Learning used to be something that would excite me. It used to be something that I woke up and I was like, I'm excited to go to school today. I'm excited to learn something new. But I felt like the past 2 years, it doesn't excite me anymore. It's just, I don't know if it's not the same. I don't know if it's because it's just a new environment and I'm still not fully adapted to it. This is something I'm never said out loud, but I don't know if I'm interested in my major anymore, which I'm already 2 years deep into it, and it was something that I'd been planning for like 4, maybe 5 years now. And 5 years is a lot of my life. 5 years is 20% of my life. To think that the thing that I had been working towards for 20% of my life is something that I just don't want to do anymore. I feel like I owe it to myself to keep going and to keep doing it, but I feel like the spark is gone. A little more insight. I mean, I'm a biomedical engineering major. I've been interested in it since I was probably 14 years old. I'm now 19. I was interested in it because quite a couple people in my family rely heavily on medical devices. I want to help them and people like them, and I want to build devices that help people. And more recently, I've been looking into the AI aspects of it, which like physically hurts me to say. I mean, if you were to ask me in high school what I thought about AI, I would have said the same thing that I would have told you now. I'm not in the greatest support of AI, especially generative AI, which I know is mainly just online stuff, creating images, creating videos, creating text. I know that AI can be helpful, and I know that like a lot of people say AI is the future, but it's really hard to stand with it from a moral perspective, knowing that if AI has the abilities to start thinking on its own, to start doing things on its own, who knows what it would do with the creations that I make. And I don't want to hurt anyone, obviously. And I don't want to play a part in hurting anyone. I want to help people. And I know that it would be out of my control. And I know that this is a possibility in the far, far future, probably within my lifetime, but not something for 19-year-old me to be dealing with. But the idea of even potentially hurting people in my career with the things that I do and the things that I make, it's not that it deters me away from it. It doesn't make me excited. And I know that it's just the harsh truth of the world. I know it's just the reality of working in a medical field and working as an engineer, working with machines. But it's scary. It's scary to think that something that you work so hard for, something that you put your soul into, it can still turn against you. And I mean, I guess now we're not really talking about AI anymore. No, I've just been having a lot of feelings. I think I've lost my motivation and interest in a lot of things, not just my major, but I think just an overall purpose in what I'm meant to do. Since I was young, I always figured everybody was put here for a purpose. You know, you're born, you're meant to do something. Hopefully once you do it, you're set free and you can live a new life. You can die, you could be reborn, you can find a new purpose. And I feel like I've spent 19 years trying to figure out what my purpose is, and I still don't have it figured out. I don't know. I thought I knew. I mean, if you asked me in like August, I would have told you I'm gonna be an engineer and I'm gonna be a YouTuber and I'm gonna help people and I'm gonna make them happy. That was like 8 months ago. A lot has happened since then. I'm not even happy. How can I help other people be happy? That was really cringe to say, damn. But anyways, I mean, if I were to ask myself those same questions now, I'm looking for a purpose. I could say YouTube is my purpose, but I feel like I only find happiness in it now because it's just something I do in my free time. The second that it starts getting to feel like a job, the second that it's gonna start feeling more like a chore to film videos and edit videos, I fear that I'm gonna lose an interest in it, and I really don't want that to happen. But at the same time, there's nothing I want more in life than to be successful. Which again really hurts me to say because, say for the past maybe 8 years, I've fantasized. This is about to get really dark. I'm really sorry. This is not the happiest episode I've ever made. Since the time I was like 10 or 11, I've always fantasized about being freshly out of college, 22, maybe 23 years old, and getting into a fatal car crash. Which now that I say it out loud sounds really stupid. Never been brave enough to commit on my own, but I've always felt this sort of like looming feeling that something is wrong and I don't deserve to exist. Really, I don't have a purpose. If I haven't found my purpose yet, I'm never gonna find it. I feel like everyone around me is always saying you kind of have to figure yourself out by the time that you're in your 20s so that you can get stable jobs, stable income, start a family. I don't know if that was always the life for me. I don't know if I'll ever find a stable anything. I feel like my life is one anxiety after the other. The second something feels like it's finally off my chest, another 2 tons are back on my chest. And I feel like I'm just been getting crushed by the weight for so long. It's almost finally over. Which, saying it out loud, I sound so stupid and I sound so like attention seeker, but I'm being honest. This is how I feel. This is how I've been feeling for years, and I've never told anyone this to face. This is something I've only ever written down. But again, I'm being intentional with where I say it. This video could get 0 views. It could get lost in the YouTube void of the billions of videos that get posted every day. Nobody could ever see this video. It could just be my little secret. I just need to get it out there. I just need to get it off my chest. I don't need anyone to feel sorry for me. I don't need anyone to say, wow, you're so relatable. This is just me and how I feel. That's what it is. This past week, I've been internalizing and reflecting a lot on my emotions and seeing where I stand with myself. Clearly, I'm not happy with the person that I am. I've tried to change internally before I change externally. But I don't know, I guess not speaking a word for 7 days really puts a lot of pressure on your mind. I know that this was very dark. I know I had more to say, I just can't think of it right now, so I guess I'll save it for next week. Looking forward to good things happening soon. I will see you guys on Wednesday.